AppWork is one of our founding sponsors. Much more than maintenance, AppWork is advanced business intelligence. Streamline maintenance workflows and keep an eye on the leaderboard as your service teams enjoy the gamification of maintenance. Visit appworkco.com and transform your productivity today. And welcome to Thriving in Multifamily, a visionary podcast. I am your host, Lissi Daniels, and this podcast is brought to you by Multifamily Media Network. And I have the pleasure to not only he's become my new friend, new connection, and plus my guest on this show today, Jason Simpson. How are you? Please tell our world out there a little bit about who you are before we dive into the continued topics of taking it from vision to reality within your career. Welcome.
It, it is a beautiful morning. I'm glad to be here. A little bit about myself. My name is Jason Simpson. I am currently a maintenance supervisor for Embree. I've been around the block a little bit. I'm also on the board of directors for our local apartment association. I have the emergent leader designation with the Texas Apartment Association, and that puts me on the Texas Apartment Association Executive Committee. Uh,
Wow.
I am relatively well versed with our area and our industry. While I have a lot less years of experience, I've utilized my years of experience very well, and I've completely thrown myself into this industry 100%. I am enveloped in it, and I live and breathe it. I forget that I even have a home sometimes, and to not talk about work. So this is me. This industry is my passion, honestly.
Oh my gosh, I love hearing that. I think it's all of our passion, right? And I think at some point we fall into it. And I love that, where you've grown within your career and where you're at, and you give hope to so many other individuals out there and within your story. So how did you take it from vision to a reality? I'm so big about, vision boards and writing goals down and speaking things out there. Like, what made you like, you know what, this is what I want to do, and this is the next level I'm going to go and work towards. Like, I'd like to dive into that a little bit.
So I usually joke a little bit and I say it's a mix of spite, luck, and determination. Um,
Oh.
very, very early on in my career, I most of my life I've been on and off in the oil field. I'm down here in Midland, Texas. We're oil country. Everybody thinks of it's either Friday Night Lights or oil. That's all people think about us. But with oil field work comes layoff. And I had got laid off and the job market was real bad. Um, I was offered a groundskeeper position and I was like, well, it's something new. My wife was in the industry. She was a assistant property manager with a company. So I took it. And at one point we had no maintenance, none at all. And so I had a little bit of common sense. I had some tools. I can work on my car a little bit. I thought I was relatively handy. And I just started doing work orders. I'm not even gonna lie. I tore stuff up too. I fixed a lot, but I broke other things too. Um, Mold, I didn't know you weren't supposed to say that. I learned that lesson the hard way. Definitely had a good conversation with the property manager about not saying mold. We don't say that. It's either mildew or microbial growth. We never say mold.
Never. Oh my
Lesson
gosh.
learned. But early on, I gave my opinion about something, and I was told, "Hey, you're just a groundskeeper. Don't worry about that. You stay in your lane." I didn't like that. I didn't like that. I felt like I don't want to say I was cocky, but I was like, "Hey, I'm doing all this. I'm making sure your property looks good. I'm a person too." And at one point, I kind of took that. I was like, "Okay, watch what I can do. If you say I can't, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to prove you wrong and look good while I do it too." So I was offered a tech position at a sister property, and they're like, "Hey, it's a Class C property. It's going to be way hard. Just stay here with us. We'll make you a make-ready tech at this nice Class A property." I'm like, "No, I'm going to that Class C property, and I'm going to learn some stuff." They weren't lying. It was hard. My first day, I had like 350 service requests. It was an absolute nightmare, and I struggled. At one point, our property manager just walked out. So it was me and a brand new leasing agent. And we were like kids lost at Walmart waiting for our parents to come back. We had no idea what was going on. So over the course of a couple months, we whittled down those service requests and we got it down to zero. We were able to start getting into make readies. We were handling it really well. I ended up getting a CPO and an EPA. They had hired another tech. He got a CPO and EPA, and we had it good. Well, I'm hungry. I was hungry. I wanted more, you know. I came from the oil
Yeah.
field and I expected a certain amount in my life, and I just felt like I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
getting it just yet. So I started looking, and I ended up taking an interview. I ended up applying, and they asked me for an interview, and honestly, I was terrified. At first, I was
Yeah.
gonna be like, no, I'm not gonna go, and I'm not qualified yet. I've only been in the industry 6 months at this time. Well, I talked to my
Okay.
wife, and my wife is not only my best friend, she's also my biggest influencer and my biggest
Uh,
support system. I told her, I was like, hey, I don't think I'm going to go. And she's like, no, you're going to go and you're going to let them decide if you can or not. And I went there. Lady, her name is Miss T. She had bright blue eyes. And when she was an old corrections officer, and she would stare right through you when she talked. So she starts asking me questions, and I'm nervous. I'm like, yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And at the end of the interview, she was like, "You know what? You're actually extremely qualified. You can do everything that we're asking." I'm like, "Really?" She was like, "Yeah, we'll call you back if we decide we have one other candidate we want to look at." Next day, she called me back and offered me a job. Within 6 months in this industry, by doing everything nobody else wanted to do, I earned a supervisor position. I had the license, I had the skills.
ah.
I didn't have the people skills yet. That was the hard part of managing people. But really, to answer the question is I just continuously did what everybody else wouldn't do. I didn't take
Mm.
the easy route. I did the difficult jobs. I did the things that I knew were going to take me hours to complete. I I just sucked it up. It was going to suck, and I
Yeah.
embraced and
Oh
sometimes
my
that's what you got
gosh.
to do. All in all, you have to embrace the suck, and you have to learn more. You have to do the difficult things. Difficult things make you better. And that's really
Oh
how I
my
got to where I
gosh.
challenge myself every day.
Yeah, I love that story. And I love the fact that you said that you got to embrace it, right? You do. I think challenges is what makes us grow. It builds us to become better, but we also have to have that inner belief that we could do whatever it is and face front with it at the same time. But also you had guided inspiration. And I love how you just recognized your wife and how she was your support and background. So kudos to her. Shout out to your wife out there as well, as well too, but also Misty with the blue daggering eyes that just made you fearful at that interview. I think we all have had that one person that we interviewed that we're like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can do this. This is going to be scary. But then it turns out to be the best thing. And look where it's gotten you into that and growing with that. And so I think that's amazing. What are some common challenges do you think people face when it comes to, embarking on their journey for success or just within their everyday career or personal? What do you think?
I'd say the same thing I kind of felt when I didn't feel qualified enough. I felt like I wasn't ready. And you have to say, okay, I can do this. It's going to be difficult, but I can figure this out. People set them up. Well, people, how do I say this? Is people fail before they even try. They're not willing to
Oh
go
yeah.
shoot that extra step. They're not willing to
Mm-hmm.
apply for that job. They don't think that they're ready. Is you have to try. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot fail if you don't even try. There's a quote, I can't remember who says it, but you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I think it was Wayne
Yes,
Gretzky or
yes.
something.
It's Wayne
Yeah.
Gretzky. That's one of
Yep.
my favorite quotes. You hit that.
There are so many people who are so much more qualified than they think. And even if you're not qualified, you'll figure
Mm-hmm.
it out. You will
Yeah.
figure it out, and it's gonna be difficult, and you're gonna be challenged, but you have to try. You cannot get in
Yeah.
this industry. Getting complacent, in my opinion, is the worst thing you can do. Like
Yeah.
I want to be a regional. I want to be somebody's regional facility manager. I'm
Yeah.
hungry. I don't want to just stay where I'm at for several years. I
Yeah.
want more. I want more, and I want more. And we have to I feel like not trying and getting complacent is some of the biggest challenges a lot of people are facing, and they don't even realize it. They're getting
Mm-hmm.
stagnant in their career by not being willing to make that move, leave that company, stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it, but you have to be willing to take a risk.
Oh, yes. I love how you, oh my God, you dropped some nuggets in there. Like I'm trying to catch them left and right there, Jason. But yeah, you have to really take those risks, right? Put yourself out there. Don't be scared. Step out of that comfort zone and know that you can do it. If you truly believe in whatever you want to grow and build, you can do that, right? And I think your mentality and thinking is the same as mine, and especially when it came to my overall goals as far as how I've grown at the same time as well. So I love hearing these stories where it kind of goes back and forth and we have that same commonalities of that. But we're really helping other people out there know that you can do it. Just set your mind forth, put your goals down. How are you about with goals? Do you write your goals? Do you just think about it? Like, do you ever say, okay, I'm going to, write a vision board? I don't know if you do or not, but I think those are so helpful when it comes to planning things.
So I've never wrote a vision board. It's not the worst idea, actually. It wouldn't hurt. But I'm a chronic worrier and a chronic stressor. And now it's
Ah,
not in a bad way. Like I said, I've learned to embrace it as who I am. If I have a job that I'm doing and I know that I don't know what I'm doing, I'll be on my phone, laying in bed. I'm researching it, I'm looking, I'm chronically keeping that stuff in mind.
mm-hmm.
Even if it's not a bad thing, if it's something like, okay, I need to be here, I've got this date planned, how can I make this the best at all?
Yeah.
I keep it in the back of my head mind and I'm always thinking about it. I could be having this conversation right now, and I realize I haven't taken my wife out on a date in about a week or two, so I'm planning
Oh,
on trying to figure out where I'm going to take her. So
there you
you have to
go.
keep things in mind, and you cannot push things aside. That's one thing that helps me is
Mm-hmm.
I constantly thinking about it, and calendar invites. You always got to have a good calendar invite.
Those
That's
are
how.
always great.
So one thing is, and to talk about it, talk about these things. Talk to your support system, talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk to your coworkers. Bring up
Yeah.
ideas you have. I have a fantastic group of coworkers at where I'm at right now, and if I had a personal idea or something that I was thinking about, I could talk to my property manager and be like, "Hey Terry, what do you think about this? What if I did this? What do you think?" And Terry, she'll tell you. She was like, "If that's a dumb idea, she's gonna tell me. Now, if it's a good idea, she'll
Yeah.
tell me too." Is you have to build a support system for if you really have a lot that you want to accomplish, I would lean on your support system. That's one thing that helps me
Yeah.
keep going.
Our sponsor today is AppWork, best known for exceptional maintenance workflow management. AppWork offers so much more. Optimize operations with this advanced business intelligence that turns data into strategy. Simplify your operation with AppWork intuitive platform. Service team members love the gamification of maintenance workflows and leaderboards, making everyday's task a competition for number one. From project management to team communication, AppWork has you covered. Visit outworkco.com today. Oh, I love that. You kind of walked right into my next point I want to bring up is leaning on your support system and who is that and building that network. And I think building those meaningful connections is so important. And they start kind of at the beginning of your journey into what you're wanting to work towards, but then they're lasting people, right? That's going to help you. Have you had mentors or coaches that have actually helped develop your growth path within your career?
So I have had several fantastic influences in this industry. I'd have to if I were to name them, I'd say maintenance wise and career wise, one of my biggest influences would have to be Adrian Danila. That man is a
Oh,
rock star. He has pointed me where I need to be. He has helped keep my mind in fantastic places. Some of my other really great influences would be my association executive, Sylvia Lacey. There was a point where I was feeling
mm-hmm.
very disheartened. I was like, you know what? Things aren't working out. Maybe I should go back to the oil field. Sylvia called me and talked to me on the phone for about 2 hours. She's like, "You're not quitting. You're staying on our board. This is what's going to happen. You're going to suck it up and you're going to deal with it and it's going to be okay." My board president, James Ellis, he's been a friend and he's been fantastic to me. He's been kind. He's had my back. He's uplifted my spirits. I'd say
Aw.
from TAA, I'd say Becca Ramadi has really just been, she's brought me into the fold of the Texas Barman Association and made me feel so welcome and at home. Of course, my biggest influence and my biggest fan, once again, and I can't talk about this one enough, is a beautiful property manager named Ashley, and that is my wife. And she is a rock star. She's a superstar. She is insanely intelligent. So that girl is smarter than I'll ever be. She starts talking. I don't know what she's talking about, but I'm just looking at her like, "You're so pretty. I love when you talk." She,
I
she's also
love
my favorite
that.
one. We can gossip together. We can talk about work, but we can talk about nothing at all. But she's my biggest supporter. She's my biggest fan. And those
Oh.
people have kept my head straight and where it needs to be in this industry.
Hmm.
I
Oh
just
my gosh. Could
not, not to talk
I was
about it
saying I
too
love
much, but
that.
I've just been I've had so many fantastic people I've met. I've met some of the best people I've ever met in my life in this industry, honestly.
Hmm. I have to agree with you. I mean, some of my best friends have come from this industry and built on connections and making them very meaningful. And at the same time, has helped guided me throughout my career path. And even here, stepping into this new zone as, the new podcaster. So I love hearing that you have that much passion, but also that much, inspiration from your wife, that's your backbone, and then other people like Adrian, who's a good guy out there,
Who's
and
fantastic.
continuously helping you. Yeah, continuously helping you on this journey of your career. And I think people fail to where they miss that little component of it, that building these connections are extremely fruitful but helpful to their career path. How do you network with people? How do you build that? Like, do you just, are you one of those ones, Jason, that just say, you know what, I'm going to tap on your shoulder and I want to be like you one day.
So that's pretty much exactly how I am. So I'm huge on, I firmly believe on the power of networking, leveraging that not only as for yourself, but it's also you meet great people. So
Mm-hmm.
take an Adrian example. I've watched him on LinkedIn and I just watched him and I'm like, wow, this guy's this, he's this. How does he? So I just messaged him. I just I just said, okay, I'm gonna message him. I
Yeah.
messaged him on LinkedIn. We talked for a minute. He said, here, I'm gonna call you at tomorrow at 7 a.m. And if you know anything about Adrian, he
Yeah.
wakes up super early.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize his 7 a.m. was my 6 a.m. So I didn't realize that. And I'm sleeping. I like my sleep. At 6 a.m., I'm asleep. Leave me alone. I get a call and I'm like, oh God, it's Adrian. I jump out of bed like a banshee, and I'm like struggling to get my first few sentences out. But then we end up having a fantastic conversation, and that's my thing is if I don't know you and I want to know who you are, I'm gonna say, hey, my name's
Mm-hmm.
Jason. This is what I do. I'd like to know a little
Yeah.
bit more about you, and we end up just having great conversations. And is you got to just be open and authentic. Don't do the fake laughs.
Mm.
Don't try to kiss butt. Just be open, be authentic. Don't try to be smarter than you are. Like a lot of these people at
Yeah.
TAA, they're light years ahead of their career compared to where I'm
Yeah.
at. They'll start talking. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. What does this mean? What does that mean?
Yeah.
How did you do this? How did you get to where you are? And
Ah,
you just have to,
I'm pinning that
you really,
question. I'm pinning it.
yes, yes, you just you have to be willing to look goofy sometimes. You have to be willing to admit you don't know everything, and you have to be
Mm-hmm.
willing to be uncomfortable. You are going to get put into an uncomfortable position sometime meeting somebody who you either respect or you're kind of scared of, and you have to be uncomfortable. You have to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah, yeah. No, that is so true. I love that question. How did you get to where you are? It's such a powerful question in the sense to you want to know, you want to soak in the knowledge, and you want to be, ask those questions to these, individuals that can help and you see and you aspire to. And I think every role within our industry needs to start that and kind of, look at it like that. And it gives hope to like, I could be a Jason one day. I could work towards where he's been at and where he's growing and be like, hey Jason, how did you get there? Can you help me? And I think those conversations for mentorship, right? And also also just building completely within your field. And it gives, maintenance teams in itself, or maintenance members can even grow to be, where they're at, and everybody has a place to to aspire to. And I just love that you share that as well. What advice would you give someone just starting out, like saying, hey, this is what I recommend, or that's worked with me?
You have to sacrifice some of your time. You have to
Mm,
understand that you will not get to where you want to be purely 9 to 5. It's not going to happen. If you're the type of person who
yeah,
clocks in and clocks out, it's not going to happen. It's not going to
yeah.
happen. You can do great. You can get promoted. You will not get up above and beyond from 9 to 5. You will have to understand that you are going to have to make choices in life where you will have to sacrifice your time. My time
Mm-hmm.
is extremely limited in life. Between owning a business, running my 9 to 5, my apartment association for both the local and Texas. Um, I have no PTO this year. It's already planned out ahead. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I work I work my 8:30 to 5:30, and I don't stop working. I clock out at 5:30, and then I go work more till about 8:30 to 9 o'clock at night. You have to be hungry, and you have to be willing to say how far, what are you willing to do? How much are you willing to sacrifice to get to where you want to be in life?
Mm,
I I'm willing to do just about anything to be better for myself, to be better for the industry, so I can make my teams better, I call them my maintenance. Well, I mean, my maintenance guys better, my maintenance ladies better,
I love it.
whoever they are. I don't care. My goal in this industry is make an impact in the maintenance field, and that's that is my goal. And that is one of the, how do I put this? It's not the only thing I care about, but it is my prime directive in life, is how can I make maintenance better?
Mm-hmm. I love that. So you go out there and make maintenance better, Jason. I truly believe that you will. Your story is so inspiring, and I hope that it inspires any other individual out there that's aiming to grow to the next level, no matter what role you're in. We're all leaders in our roles, aiming for the same success and building within our career path. And it's just so enlightening to hear these stories and know that, everyone started somewhere, but that doesn't mean you can't get to this place, right? And continue to build off of
Absolutely.
that. Do you have any final thoughts or anything else you want to share with the world out there, as I would say?
Out for the world. Oh, Lordy. The only thing is, I would say, is just don't give up. You're gonna get told no
Mm-hmm.
sometimes in life. Don't give up. Don't,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna find people don't always like you. Doesn't matter,
Mm-hmm.
because somebody else will. Do not give up. You're gonna
Yeah.
hear no. Doesn't matter. Keep your head up, keep moving forward, and keep being better than you were. If you're 1% better than you were yesterday, you're making an improvement. Keep
I
trying.
love that. Keep trying and never give up. I love that. That is so amazing. So, before I end this, because I know I had said final thoughts, but then I'm still kind of getting into the conversation as well. When you have what when you have setbacks or challenges with this, and meant to say it earlier, and I kind of like was letting you, I wanted to let you finish your storyline. That same thing you just mentioned before about never giving up and always pushing forward kind of ties into that, right? And when you have setbacks in life and you have challenges with going through your career, utilize that. And I think that's one thing Jason said that I think is so important, is always make sure, no matter what, no matter where you're at, no matter what you're doing, what is it? Keep moving forward and never giving up. And I think it's a true testament of that. So again, thank you so much, Jason, for attending Thriving in Multifamily, a visionary podcast, on this episode of taking your vision to reality, because I think you are there and you're still aiming to it. I see great things as well. I am your host, Lissi Daniels. Until next time, I will talk to you guys soon. Bye now. Being involved in your local associations benefit your career, Jason? I'm always curious about that when it comes to people's journeys.
So I'll be honest. I feel like it's skyrocketed my career and my potential. It's opened so many doors for me that I would never even thought about. I mean, the way I was brought in, was brought in. My wife, of course, she had got involved, and I got involved because of that. And it's given me the opportunity to teach and learn. Like right now, I'm the proctor and the teacher for the EPA course. So, we have an in-house EPA course that we do. I've got to teach that twice so far. We have another one coming up, and it's allowed me to take that next step. And a lot of the guys, if you want to become a regional facility manager or go even higher, is you're going to have to learn how to educate these people in a classroom setting. So
Mm-hmm.
they've helped me be able to achieve that. And not only that is
Yeah.
we've created a multifamily maintenance readiness program with the Odessa College, our local college, through the Next Gen program, part of the Next Gen committee with the apartment association. I'm going to be an adjunct instructor for the local college. That's an
Oh,
amazing
wow. That's
opportunity to
exciting.
be able. Exactly. I'm going to be teaching out of college how to do what we do, and none of that would have been possible without that. It's a huge plus to
Yeah.
be able to get this, and it's really simple to get involved if you're interested. What you want to do is you're going to reach out to your local association. Most people start on committees. Join a committee. Almost
Mm-hmm.
my association and most others don't have any real restrictions on joining a committee, as long as you're part of the
Mm-hmm.
member group. Your property is part of the member group. You just
Mm-hmm.
reach out and say, "Hey, I want to be on a committee." You'll meet fantastic people. You'll meet so many people more who are extremely
Yeah.
involved, and the more people you have in your circle that is extremely involved, the better off you're going to be. I'm surrounded by industry
Yeah.
professionals 24/7. Um, it's a fantastic thing to do, and I highly recommend. I don't care if you're a groundskeeper, I don't care if you are a leasing agent, I don't care if you're a regional vice president. Get involved in your local association. It's it's it's
Mm-hmm.
extremely good for your career, but it's also good for the socialization with people who understand what you go through every day.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It goes back to when we were talking about networking and building those meaningful connections. It does start there. And I think it's kind of, helped every one of us advanced in some kind of ways, especially within myself too. So thank you for sharing that as well, as far as when it comes to that.
Can't talk enough about it.
Okay, I stopped it. That was perfect. Thank you again to Outwork for sponsoring today's episode. Imagine carrying a digital make ready board in your pocket with work order tracking and maintenance technician leaderboards designed to gamify the process and bring out your team's competitive best. Appwork offers solutions to headaches that have plagued the multifamily industry for decades. Visit www.appworkco.com today.